Yay, yay, yay. Been wanting to get that fixed for a while. This is not the place to park one of these things. It's in everybody's way. I don't understand why this shit's it's blocking access. Ramp there, ramp over there. This is not the location to leave scooters at. There's a big old blue sign over there with a wheelchair on it. Right there. This is wheelchair access. And this access is blocked. Who in their right mind thinks they can just violate somebody's civil rights? These things are obstacles. Big old blue sign with a wheelchair on it and an arrow underneath. This is where you park scooters, folks, right here. Not up here. Come and get your junk. See this tree hole down here? That concrete ain't but 2 feet wide. Okay? So cast the sidewalk out. Well, guess what? I can't get past this point right here. There ain't enough room because of this tree y'all put here. Somebody wasn't thinking. Crosswalk lights are not working. They're not working at all. This one's got 26 seconds on it. And none of these are working. None of them. Well, that one decided to work. That one got hit by a car. We got to be at least 30 trillion in deficit right now. The next 5 generations, I feel sorry for them on how much money they're going to have to be paying in taxes. Well, you can't blame me for putting these idiots in office. It ain't my fault. It's your own. Yo, if I got locked up, went to jail, did some time, my Social Security check would be gone. I wouldn't get a dime. Not a dime. But they want to give inmates a stimulus check. Boy!
Charges will be filed. Atlanta police say that they credit a group of citizens. Police say the man walked up to the cashier and demanded money this afternoon at the Midtown restaurant in Colony Square. Detectives tell us that the armed man ran out of the building where several people confronted him. At some point, officers say one of the citizens fired at least 2 shots. He tried to run off, but witnesses chased him down, where they held him at gunpoint until officers arrived. Investigators have not filed any charges against the armed citizen. A Douglas County, Atlanta. Officers tell us that the impact of that collision ignited a fire in several cars at the house, but when crews put out the flames, police say they found the driver with a gunshot wound.
From my understanding, somebody was coming up the street and ran into my car and totaled out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vehicles and a motorcycle.
The medical examiner's office has not identified the driver who crashed into that house.
Coweta County deputies are cracking down on online sales of edible marijuana products. The sheriff's office says it's received a number of complaints from parents and teachers that teenagers had purchased these edibles. It launched a months-long undercover investigation and made a total of 24 arrests linked to these illegal sales. Authorities tell us many of the products look like regular snacks or candy.
Common things you'll see in a gas station that, parents may not know what these items are or may not recognize what these items are.
THC is the compound in marijuana that gets the user high. Investigators say the amount of THC in the products they confiscated ranged from 30% to 93%. Anything that has more than 0.03% of THC is illegal in Georgia. We're told some of the products came from states where marijuana is legal, while other products were made in the South Metro area.
When News Edge at 11 continues to
robbed an armored truck at a Bank of America ATM in South Carolina. Investigators say they believe Murphy is in the Atlanta area and may have a large amount of money stolen from the truck. The FBI has offered a reward of up to $10,000 for information that could lead to an arrest. Decatur police are investigating a sexual assault tonight, and they believe the driver of a red Cadillac may be involved.
News Edge reporter Elizabeth Rollins spoke with investigators who say that this car was seen coming and going around the time of the attack.
Investigators say this happened early Sunday morning, shortly after 8 a.m. The victim had just parked in this parking garage when she noticed the suspect. Some Decatur residents are wondering how a suspect managed to access their gated parking deck over the weekend prior to attacking one of their residents.
I'm going to wait till the gate closed before I even drive off. Once I get in, I'm waiting till the gate closed, and I'm going to drive off.
Decatur police releasing these images of a car that was caught coming and going from the parking garage of the Arlo apartment complex on East Trinity Place early Sunday morning. Investigators believe the driver is also the suspect who attacked a resident shortly after 8 a.m.
Never hear about anything like this happening.
According to the report, the resident was arriving home. She had just parked and had not even gotten out of her car when she noticed a man attempting to access the elevator of the apartment building. The suspect claimed he was visiting a cousin and needed her help accessing the building. Some residents say the suspect would also have needed help accessing the parking deck.
The same fob you get into the gate, the same fob you got to access the doors with.
But before she could get out of her car, investigators say he pulled out a gun, demanded everything she had, including her bag containing her dance clothes and her backpack. The suspect then attempted to sexually assault her.
That's very scary. Very, very scary, and I'm sorry that happened to her.
The woman managed to fight back. She was able to get away, but so did the suspect, who police believe was driving this car, a red Cadillac with dark tinted windows and no tag.
Do you recognize that red Cadillac?
I do not.
It's kind of an uncommon car, I would say, like, that color and everything, but I haven't seen it.
Of course, if you've seen that red Cadillac or have any information about this incident, please call police or Crime Stoppers. We're reporting in Decatur tonight. Elizabeth Rollins, Fox 5 News.
Styles' death is suicide. His family says that decision seems quick, considering investigators are still sifting through reports of vandalism to his car, and his Facebook page was hacked around the time of his death.
Only thing I can think of is, racial activity. That's not the typical way for a black person to commit suicide, to hang themselves.
Keaton Styles says it's hard to believe his brother Stephen would end things like this.
We used to tell each other all the time that, we all we got.
With his parents gone, he says he spoke to his older brother Stephen Styles as often as he could.
He was a kind-hearted person. He was funny. He loved a joke.
43-year-old Stephen went missing in February. Family says the timeline of his disappearance is unclear, but they sensed something was wrong when investigators found his car around the 20th. They say it was in the woods, not far from his grandparents' home on Mason Creek Road in Winston.
And the car was all messed up. Like, the windows was busted out of it. His battery was taken from the car, and the inside of the car was full of mud.
Not far from the car, family says, was Styles' lifeless body hanging from a tree. The Douglas County Sheriff's Office provided me with a death report that indicates Styles was found, quote, deceased without the presence of a licensed physician, but doesn't provide further details. Representatives for the Sheriff's Office tell me they don't believe foul play was involved, although they are investigating vandalism to Styles' car.
They were so quick to rule it a suicide.
Meantime, the Stiles family says this unexpected death has drawn them even closer together.
I did ask investigators when they request appointments and each person is screened. While there are people who don't plan on getting vaccinated anytime soon,
if I had to take it today, I would say no.
For some families, it can be life-changing and a sigh of relief. And for my son, it's going to be a big relief. Being prioritized, that's a godsend. As eligibility continues to expand in the state of Georgia, Governor Brian Kemp says the goal is to give access to every Georgian, with mass vaccination sites helping to meet that demand.
Financial help is almost on the way for millions of Americans struggling during the COVID-19 pandemic. Final passage of the $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief plan is expected tomorrow in the House. The sweeping measure passed the Senate on Saturday. The House has already passed a version of the bill, but the Senate stripped a piece that would raise minimum wage. It also reduced weekly unemployment benefits and tightened stimulus check eligibility. Those $1,400 checks could now be coming before the end of the month. Today, Senator Reverend Raphael Warnock was in Atlanta talking about the $20 billion in the bill that will go forward and toward vaccination efforts and economic relief.
More than $8 billion in this package going directly to our state government as well as to our cities and our towns and counties to prevent layoffs of essential workers.
Senator Reverend Warnock also made stops at Morehouse School of Medicine and the mass COVID-19 vaccination site at the Delta Flight Museum while in town today. Today, the CDC
afternoon. The bill puts restrictions on who is allowed to request an absentee ballot. Only poll workers, people out of town on election day, those 65 and older, people with physical disabilities, or those observing a religious holiday would be allowed to request one.
This is not preventing anyone from voting by a mail-in absentee. All this is doing is creating a groundwork to help relieve some of the stresses that we see in the future as we continue to grow.
But those who disagree with Senate Majority Leader Mike Dugan say it does little to protect the rights of voters.
It is a slap in the face to the millions of Georgians who are just trying to cast their vote and trying to do it in a fair and efficient and safe way.
Hannah Gebrselassie, Crystal Greer, and Al Herring are all part of different groups that have come together as the Protect the Vote Georgia Coalition. They've held rallies outside of the state capitol for a week and a half to make their concerns heard.
So we need to focus on contacting the Republicans, especially Mike Dugan, who was the author of this bill, Butch Miller. All of these people need to know we're in opposition of this, this bill.
The ACLU of Georgia says about 1 million people voted by absentee ballots during the November elections and runoffs. Christopher Bruce is the political director of the ACLU of Georgia, and he says the bill will unfairly impact certain populations.
Others who have compromised immune systems, who actually work on certain days or who have unpredictable schedules, or those who may have other emergencies that come up that typically happens with life, that comes up with family, friends, or their children, they're going to be the ones who are going to be impacted the most by this bill.
This bill will now head to the Georgia State of Representatives for a vote. In Atlanta, Janice Yu, Fox 5 News.
Wow, 2 New York City police officers are recovering after being shot inside this Brooklyn apartment building Sunday. It happened after investigators say the 44-year-old suspect shot his roommate in the legs. One officer took a shot in his bulletproof vest. The other was grazed in the leg. All 3 victims are expected to be okay. The accused shooter is facing several charges tonight, including attempted murder of a police officer. Friday, which told service providers to temporarily increase capacity to full license capacity. It's not yet clear how many beds will become available. Well, at least 17 million viewers